All right, thank you guys. Welcome to our NBA video here today for Monday, May 10th. Happy Monday to you. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Now, my name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. And if you want to see which one of these YouTube picks I'm actually betting on personally here today, don't forget to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, we're coming fresh off our second straight winning day in a row on Patreon. We went 4-1 in our 5 premium sports picks on that website yesterday. And that's going to put us at 2-0 in our last couple of board member tier package picks on that Patreon page. We're also hitting at 62% in our last 13 board member tier package picks in that very same category. We currently have over 1,150 members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that page is in the description section below. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. With that, guys, let's go ahead and get into some Monday NBA action. We're going to start with the Wizards taking on the Hawks, 7:30 p.m. Eastern start time. The Atlanta Hawks are -7.5, totals 237. Atlanta's won 3 out of their last 4 ball games, 21-11 straight up as the home team this year. The Hawks have also done a real nice job covering the number at the State Farm Arena. They've successfully covered the number in 21 out of 32 home games, and that's good for 66% in that category. The Hawks are one of the best rebounding teams in the game right now. They're in the top 10 in defensive rebounding, top 5 in offensive rebounding at home. Trae Young scoring 25 points a night, 3 rebounds, 9.5 assists for the point guard. Meanwhile, John Collins is scoring over 17.5 points a game himself, along with 7 rebounds. Now, they're taking on a Washington team who's going to work here without their leading scorer, Bradley Beal. He's battling a hamstring injury. The Wizards have also failed to cover the point spread in their last 2 straight, and they also give up more points than anyone in the league. Washington currently is dead last in the association in points allowed per contest. They're allowing 119 points a game. Now, they're also in the bottom 10 in defensive rebounding as well. That could present a little bit of a problem here this evening against Atlanta. Now, total-wise, Washington saw 6 out of their last 10 meetings with the Hawks stay under the line. Meanwhile, Atlanta's 18-14 to the under at the State Farm Arena. I'm going to lean toward the Atlanta Hawks -7.5 and the under 237. Next ball game, Pacers, Cavaliers, 7:30 Eastern tip-off. The Indiana Pacers are -6.5, numbers 229. Now, Indiana's got a winning record on the road this year. They're also in the top 3 in the league in road scoring. The Pacers are averaging 118 points a game when they travel, and they also rank in the top 10 in shooting the 3 ball away from home. Malcolm Brogdon scoring 21 points a game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists for the point guard. Now, keep an eye on Brogdon as he is battling some hammy issues. I'm expecting him to play tonight because, these games are pretty significant for Indiana. They're right on the cusp there of, those playing games. But anyway, Domantas Sabonis, he's also scoring 20.5 points per contest himself, 11 boards, 6 assists for the big man. Now, they're taking on a Cavaliers club who's in the second of a back-to-back here today, and they currently find themselves in the middle of a 10-game losing streak. Now, Cleveland also failed to cover the number in 13 out of their last 14 ball games as well. Cleveland's the second worst. They have the second worst record in the East, and they rank dead last in scoring on average per contest. The Cavs are averaging just 103 points a game, and they're making only 33% of their three-pointers. Now, total-wise, 4 out of Cleveland's last 5 outings got over the number, 6-3 to the over in their last 9. Meanwhile, the Pacers are officially 24-10 to the over as the road team. I'm going to lean toward the Indiana Pacers -6.5 and the over 229. Next ball game, it is going to be Pelicans versus the Grizzlies, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The Memphis Grizzlies are -9.5, totals 225. Now, Memphis lost 5 out of their last 8 ball games. They also play their worst basketball at home. The Grizzlies have gone just 14 and 18 straight up at the FedEx Forum, And they rank in the bottom 5 in offensive field goal percentage. They also average just 109 points a night as the home team. Allen and McDermott, they've both been ruled out for the Grizzlies. Now they're taking on a Pelicans team who's played some real scrappy, competitive basketball here recently. They've actually gotten the W in 5 out of their last 8 ball games. They've also gone an impressive 8-2 against the spread in their last 10. Despite the absence of Williamson and Ingram, which are huge, you're going to see a lot of folks fade the Pelicans because of that issue. Just keep in mind, Memphis is still led by Lonzo Ball, who scores near, did I say Memphis? I meant New Orleans. They're led by Lonzo Ball, who scores nearly 15 points a game, along with 4 rebounds and 5 assists. Meanwhile, Eric Bledsoe averages a dozen points a night himself, 3 rebounds, 3 assists for the guard. Now, total-wise, New Orleans' last 4 straight stayed under the line, 8-1 to the under in their last 9. Meanwhile, the Grizzlies, and I do mean the Grizzlies this time, they are 2-0 to the under in their last couple of games themselves, 6-3 to the under in their last 9. I'm going to lean toward the New Orleans Pelicans plus 9.5 and the under 225. Next game, Bucks, Spurs, 8:30 East. The Milwaukee Bucks are minus 7.5, numbers 234. Milwaukee's on a 5-game winning streak, 8-2 straight up in their last 10. The Bucks are just half a game behind the second-place Nets in the Eastern Conference standings. They're also leading the entire NBA in scoring on average per game. Giannis Antetokounmpo is dropping 28 points a night, 11 boards, 5 assists for the Greek Freak. Meanwhile, Chris Middleton scoring over 20 a game himself, 6 rebounds, 5 assists for the forward. The Bucks are leading the NBA in offensive rebounding. They find themselves draining nearly 40% of their three-pointers. They're taking on a Spurs club who's been pretty bad at home this year, just 13-20 straight up in their games at the AT&T Center. They also lost 6 out of their last 7 contests at any location. So look for the Spurs to, possibly get manhandled under the basket here today. They're in the bottom 3 in defensive rebounding, bottom 10 in offensive rebounding at home. Now, Trey Lyles, he's been ruled out for the Spurs here tonight as well. And when it comes to the number in this one, San Antonio's last 2 straight stayed under the line, 3-1 to the under in their last 4. Meanwhile, 6 out of Milwaukee's last 9 stayed under the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Milwaukee Bucks minus 7.5 and the under 234. Next ball game, Jazz versus the Warriors, 10 p.m. Eastern tip-off. The Utah Jazz are minus 3, totals 226.5. And if you like the Warriors in an upset win at home here tonight, they're plus $1.30 for some money line cash. But as good as Golden State's been here recently, they're going to have a tough time crashing the boards here tonight. They're currently in the bottom 10 in the league in offensive rebounding, bottom 3 in defensive rebounding as well. They're taking on a Utah team who's prolific in both of those areas. The Jazz are currently in the top 3 in offensive rebounding, top 10 in defensive rebounding as well. And they also have the best record in the NBA at 50-18. And they find themselves 2 games ahead of the second-place Suns in the standings. Utah allows just 107 points per contest. They've been very sound defensively. And despite the absence of Mitchell and Conley, they're still led by Jordan Clarkson, who scores nearly 18 points a game off the bench, along with 4 rebounds and 2.5 assists. Meanwhile, Bogdan Bogdanovic is scoring 16 points a game himself, along with 3 boards. When it comes to the total on this one, Utah's last 3 straight all got over the line, 5-2 to the over in their last 7. Meanwhile, the Warriors saw 7 out of their last 10 meetings with Golden State get over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Utah Jazz minus 3 and the over 226.5. With that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Rockets versus the Blazers, 10 p.m. Eastern start time. The Portland Trailblazers are minus 14.5, numbers 238. Now, Portland's won 7 out of their last 8 ball games, 6-2 against the spread during that stretch. They're also currently 10 games above 500, and they rank in the top 10 in shooting the 3-ball. Dame Lillard is scoring 28 points a game, 4 rebounds, 7 assists for Dame time. Meanwhile, Norm Powell scoring 17 a night himself, along with 3 boards. Portland averages 116 points a game, They're taking on a Houston squad who has the worst record in the league, and they've gotten the W in just 8 out of 33 road games. Now, Houston's currently dead last in the league in shooting the three ball. They're also dead last in defensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, Houston's gone 80% to the under in their last 10 meetings with the Blazers. Meanwhile, Portland saw their last 2 straight stay under the line themselves, 6-3 to the under in their last 9. I'm going to lean toward the Portland Trailblazers minus 14.5 and the under 238. And with that, guys, now we're going to jump into our quick pick recap, powered to you by my Patreon website. I like Atlanta minus 7.5 under 237. Indiana Pacers minus 6.5 over 229. New Orleans Pelicans plus 9.5 under 225. Milwaukee Bucks minus 7.5 under 234. Utah Jazz minus 3 over 226 and a hook. And before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 2-0 in our last 2 board member tier package picks on my Patreon website. We're also hitting at 62% in our last 13 board member tier package picks in that same category. I'm going to lean toward the Portland Trailblazers minus 14.5 and the under 238. With that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a package here today on Patreon, you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of May. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.